कार्पण्यदोषो पहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्यान् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं शाधिमान् त्वा प्रपन्नम्. This is where we stopped in the last video. We saw that how Arjuna surrenders to Krishna, says that Shadhiman Tvam Prapannam. He says, I surrender to you. I take refuge in you. Take me as your disciple. Guide me. I don't know what I'm doing, so please guide me. You're the one whom I'm taking refuge. I am surrendering myself to. So let's see if Arjuna is surrendering completely or little bits and pieces, like the way we all do. Okay? So let's continue with the next verse. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachchokamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhumavasapatnamruddham Rajyam Suranamapi Chadhipatyam. So Arjuna is in urgent need of guidance. He says, I'm not able to bear this grief. I'm confused. I am scared. I am utterly desolate. I need your guidance as quickly as I can to come out of this pain. It's affecting all my sense organs. So earlier he had told, my legs are trembling. Yeah. Now, then he said, I'm not able to hold my Gandhivam. It is slipping away from my hands. My hands doesn't have the strength. So he couldn't stand. His legs were trembling. He was not able to hold his bow because his hands were shaking. Now it's affected his all his sense organs. So it's when we also see that, when we are nervous, when we are scared, slowly it'll start, if we are not able to come out of it, slowly it starts affecting the whole body. Yeah. So just it slowly started from his legs. That's like, the symptoms increased from the legs to the hands, then to all his sense organs. He's saying he's not able to see properly, to hear properly. I am not able to bear this at all. That's what Arjuna is telling. So similarly, like, we all also grow impatient sometimes when we come across certain challenges. And we feel that the moment we need to solve this very quickly, then we will be at peace. So similarly, Arjuna is telling, solve my problem quickly because I want to be at peace. Okay. So Arjuna's feeble intellectual abilities has failed him. His knowledge, he was such a knowledgeable person, in the sense he had seen lot of wars. He had administered. He was ruling. He had fought many wars. He's gone through so much in his life. So his knowledge about the world, all that actually has come down now for him. He's not able to associate or relate with anything. His knowledge, what of the world, is also becoming very insufficient to him. Why I'm saying this is, there are, like Arjuna, he was not a person who was, very docile and, just living in his own space. He's ventured out. He has seen what happens in the world outside. He's gone through challenges. He's gone through certain good things, bad things, everything. In spite of all that knowledge that he had, okay, that was very insufficient to him. That didn't give him any solace to his grief at all. Yeah. So he says that, release me from this ocean of grief. This grief is something which is unbearable for me. Please release me, is what he's telling. So it's very clear that his sorrow is not for the kingdom. Yeah. His sorrow is not for the, attaining this whole earth. Even if he would have got heaven to rule, even then his sorrow will not be over because of Sanjaya Uvacha Eva Muktva Hrishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Nayotsya iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Here, Sanjaya is narrating all this to Dhritarashtra, right? So he is telling that Arjuna, who is the Gudakesha, the conqueror of sleep, we saw, the conqueror of internal enemies, we saw, the conqueror of even the external enemies. So he who has conquered, that Arjuna is telling the Lord of all hearts, that is to Sri Krishna, that he will not fight and he becomes silent. He surrenders, but he says that I will also not fight. Okay. So whom is Sanjaya telling it to? To Dhritarashtra. Okay. So now let's do the study of two characters. One is Arjuna and the second one is Dhritarashtra. Okay. So Arjuna is full of grief. He surrenders to Krishna. But does he surrender completely? No. He says that he has surrendered, but tells he will not fight. So one who has surrendered completely, he will say, you take care of it. You tell me what I have to do, I will do it accordingly. That's what we should be telling if I have surrendered completely. But here Arjuna is telling, I have surrendered, take me as your disciple, guide, all that. But in the way I want it. Because I don't want to fight. Now you guide me what I should do. So his intellect, and he says that, I will surrender, but the decision making, the intellect, it's mine. I'm not giving that to you. I'm not handing over that right to you. I'm only going to, solve my mental afflictions. Yeah. Solve my grief, solve my confusion, guide me. But at the end, I'm the one who will decide. Yeah. Very nice, right? So you're giving it to somebody, you're giving the reins to somebody, but you will say, I will tell you how to go, why to go, where to go, all these. So can we relate to Arjuna here? We are not ready to let go of completely. Yeah. So many times we say, God, please take care of me. God, take care of my sorrow. So if I have given that responsibility of, solving to God, then I should be at peace because then he will take care of it. But then the problem is, no, we also have this doubt whether he will really take care of it. So then, we kind of like, we ourselves want to do certain things. So we ourselves cannot do a lot of things. There are a lot of things which is not there in our control, but still we want to put our head into it. Okay. We surrender, at the same time we don't surrender. We are in like, we want to keep our legs in two boats. We don't want to neither we want to do completely, okay, let me do everything. Whatever I can do, let me do it. That also I will not do. I will give everything to the God to take care of it. That also I will not do. I will tell I want God to take care of it. But at the same time, I also want to do certain things to ensure that he takes stuff. Yeah. Utter confusions, right? We all are sometimes, don't we think that, it's so stupid that we really don't understand what are we getting into. Yeah, we don't think also that when we say that, I have surrendered, so many times we do that. Yeah, that we don't let go of it completely. We hold on. Even certain things, if you look at it, I'll say, okay, I will give this off. When I give something, it's over. But then you'll say, when that thing was there with me, when that was there with me, I gave this to somebody. Now it is there with that person. So I have given something physically to somebody. Yeah. But I am still holding on to it mentally, emotionally. I'm still holding on to it. Yeah. So we do that many, many times in our life. Maybe it is a physical object or an attachment. It's a mental thing, something which we have not able to let go of. It can be various things that we have in our life. So let's do this. You pause it here, you stop it, and then take a pen and a paper and write down a list of things. So that's why I said things. It can be physical or mental. So things, thoughts, memories which you are not able to let go of. Even memories, for example. We say that, okay, I have forgiven this person. But when that some thought about that person comes back, then you still hold on to that anger with you. So we're not able to let go of that anger. That memory is still there with you. You're still holding on to it. You're still holding on to that grudge. You're still holding on to the hatred. It can be, I'm just giving you examples, but now I want you to make a list of things, thoughts, and memories which you are not able to let go of. I'm telling you, it really works because these are some of the ways through which a lot of suppressed thoughts or lot of suppressed feelings that you have, which is which is blocking you, which is blocking that energy to move freely. So it's like similar to our garbage at home. Yeah, 2 days, 3 days, if the garbage is not removed from the house, it starts to stink, isn't it? Similarly, are these. They are all inside us and it's really stinking. So it is not able to, the negative energies are so much that we are not able to bring that positive energy into our life. So it's good to write it down. Writing itself, we will be able to know where we stand and we will be able to improve from there on. Okay, so do make this list. Okay, do this activity. Definitely you should be doing this. Okay. Now, the second character is Dhritarashtra. Yeah. So no one except this blind king Dhritarashtra, he had the right as well as the ability to stop this war. Even at that moment, even as he was listening to Sanjaya, even now he could have stopped it. And there was actually a faint hope in Sanjaya's heart also that somewhere Dhritarashtra will say that, let's stop this war. He was the king, right? So he could take that. He could have told his son about it. But Dhritarashtra doesn't do that. Now he saw Arjuna surrendering to Krishna, and then Sanjaya is now certain that, who will be victorious in this. He kind of, got a foresight, you say, or an intuition that, somebody has started to surrender. That means, you know, who will be victorious is somehow it is becoming a little evident, is what he feels. So Dhritarashtra was so much attached that he did not listen to anyone's best advice. In fact, Vidura tried to talk to him, Bhishma tried to talk to him, Krishna tried to talk to him. So many people tried to talk to him and to say that, you are a king, you can decide what needs to be done. But his emotional attachment that he had, his blind love that he had for his son, did not allow him to take the right decisions. So here we see blind attachment. So it is not the problem because he was blind. He had a blind attachment, which was the problem. So can we relate to this character also? Are we intentionally blind to certain things that our loved ones do? Because we are so emotionally attached, we try not to look at it, or we kind of like be blind to those things which are loved ones are doing, which is probably not right. Okay, so let's have another activity. Too many activities in this session. So write down your blind attachments that you have. It need not be just with person, okay, with one person, many. Just look around yourself and see what are your blind attachments. Okay. And why should I write all these things? Because as you write, it's not just, thinking about that memory. It's not just trying to remember certain things and putting it down. These things also helps you to reflect upon. It helps you to introspect on the kind of person that you are and see what is it that I am doing and what is it that I need to be working on. So these activities um, are for your self development. Okay, so take it up seriously and start writing it down. Don't postpone it. Okay, let me see the whole thing and then later I will write. It will not happen. So I would suggest that you stop it right now here. Write, take a pen and a paper, write down all of these things. Keep it with you. I'm not telling you to reflect on it right now. Just write it down and then you just sit over it, ponder over it, even meditate on it. Just sit with your eyes closed and whatever you have written, just bring that into your mind and see how do I come out of all these things. Okay, it's a very good exercise to improve upon your own self. तमोवाच हृषीकेशः प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः. So once Arjuna surrenders, then Krishna, with a very gracious smile, he addresses Arjuna, who was very depressed. Okay, so here let's now look at Arjuna's situation and reflect on the causes of suffering, his suffering and delusion that he is in. Okay, what is the cause of his suffering? What is the cause of Arjuna's suffering? The ignorance. What is this ignorance? What is the definition of ignorance? The erroneous belief in possessiveness and attachment. What is that? It's thinking, I belong to this, they belong to me, I belong to all these belong to me. All these are the causes of sorrow and delusion. We'll look into it a little more. When the mind is influenced by sorrow, when the mind is influenced by all this grief, normally what do? We don't choose the right path. That is why people say that when we are very happy and when we are very sad, we generally don't take the right decisions. So our mind needs to come to a balanced state and then we should be able to take decisions. Now Arjuna is fully in grief, so he's not able to decide the right course of action. So that's also because of our egoism sometimes. Yeah, that we don't want to do the right thing sometimes. The sorrow, whether it is sorrow, it can be anger, it can be even very happy also. So that desire for rewards when we are very happy, and this when we are very sad, the egoism, or when we are very angry, the egoism really plays a very important role in not taking the right path or the right course of action. Why? Because you're thinking, I am doing the action and I am also the enjoyer of its reward. That is egoism. So the definition of egoism is that I believe or I strongly know that I am the one who is doing the action, yeah, and the enjoyer of its reward. So both belongs to me. So that is what the entire Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna is helping us understand that itself. So in this particular thing of, do your duty, don't look at rewards. We will go into detail when that particular verse comes in. But then, we have misunderstood it. So if I am doing it, why shouldn't I think about it? I work in the company. Can I not expect salary from them? What is wrong in, thinking that I should get the reward? There's nothing wrong in it. That is what we see and we believe. But then when we know that, so there's something else which is guiding us. Today, to say that, even if I have to move this hand from point A to point B, there is some energy, there is some force which is allowing me to move my hand to from this point to another. I'm just the body. So it cannot. If there is a dead person, will that person be able to move? No. There's some inside energy which is there within us, which is helping us to do this. It's not just the blood, it's not just the muscles, it's not just the nerves. Everything will be there. But in spite of it, if that vital energy is not there, then we will not be able to. So here, when we know that, we need to look at it a little more deeply, then we will be able to understand it. We will take it up slowly so that we understand what it is. Okay? So Arjuna is lamenting, Sri Krishna is smiling. Isn't it? So first of all, when I am sad and somebody is feeling very happy sitting and smiling, I get even more angry. I get even more sad. Yeah? So here, why is Krishna smiling here? Says, no, Lord with a gracious smile. Prasanna Niva Bharata. He is very prasanna. He has a very pleasant face. Is a very smiling face. He's doing it. Why? Because whatever the situation is, he's not making Krishna desperate. Oh, Arjuna is asking, let me give whatever I have to give. Let me give this knowledge to him. No, he's calm. Okay, so it is whatever is the situation. Say, suppose if we are the one, somebody has come to us for advice. If somebody says, I'm surrendering to you, please guide me. Oh, then I will come out with a big bhashan for this person because I'm so happy that this person is coming. Okay, whatever knowledge that I have, let me give it to this person. Whatever advice that I have, I will give it to this person. So if just waiting for somebody to ask us for some advice, and then we will not allow that person to even talk. We will continue to go on and on and on as to what the person has to be doing. But here, if you look at it, Krishna does not want to hurry up. He takes his own time because he is not desperate like us. Okay? So he's completely balanced. He's in a very equanimous state. So why? Because the one with a very equanimous mind, because of the knowledge that he has, he's able to be in that state. So this knowledge, what Krishna wants to give it to Arjuna, it's not limited to Arjuna. So Sri Krishna, through Arjuna, with what the occasion that he had, he uses this occasion, and through Arjuna, he wants us to know. He's imparting that knowledge to us for the well-being of the entire world. So he's not looking at only Arjuna, he's looking at all of us, the entire universe. So Adi Shankaracharya, in his Bhashyam, he says, Arjunan nimittikritya That is, Arjuna is only a nimittam. Arjuna is only a person through whom the entire knowledge is given to the entire universe. So, with our incomplete understanding, we try to find faults. We all have this incomplete understanding. We don't have the true knowledge. We find faults with the situations we are in. We complain, we grumble, we get irritated, okay, and we wish to even run away from them. And what we hold these situations the reason for our misery. We blame others for whatever state that we are in, isn't it? We complain about traffic, we complain about the government, we complain about our parents, we complain about our neighbors, we complain about the cleanliness outside, everything. But isn't it all of us, if we are able to do what we are supposed to be doing, there is no problem. Yeah, we follow traffic rules. Every one of us follow traffic rules. Then there is no need of a traffic police there. There is no need of even signals. We'll know what to do. There is a red, and that's the time we want to move. Yeah. So even if it turns um, green, we are busy with the phone sometimes. Yeah. So whom should we be blaming? The police constable there saying that he's not doing his work properly. So if each one of us are able to do our actions without blaming on the situation outside, then actually half of or three-fourths of our problems are gone. The rest is certain things that we'll have to manage with it. But we don't do that. We always want to put the blame on somebody. But the enlightened souls, our rishis, okay, they say that they inform us, the world created by the divine is perfect in every way. We only find imperfections because we are imperfect. We don't have the right knowledge. When we have the right knowledge, when we are able to, through all the self-reflections, through swadhyayas, if we are able to understand it and see what is it that I need to be doing, not looking at anybody else, not putting the blame on anybody else. And then this world will start to look beautiful. How our mind is, that is the way we will manifest even outside. If my mind is cluttered, I will see clutter everywhere. If my mind is calm, I will see the whole world in a more beautiful way. So the problem is not outside, the problem is inside. So both good and bad situations are coming to us for a divine purpose. Maybe there is something nice which is in store for us. Many a times I think we have come across. I have come across many a times when I see a challenge or something is blocking me by not doing that thing, I feel so miserable. Why did God do this to me? And then after many days, you will see that that obstacle was required, or because of that obstacle, I went through something more nice in my life. I came across something more beautiful in my life. Had I didn't have that obstacle, maybe I wouldn't even have known the other side of it. So certain most of the time there is a reason maybe why there are these obstacles coming in, because it just wants to make our life, maybe the universe wants to make our life more beautiful. So those who understood the secret are never disturbed in any of these difficult circumstances. They will lead their life with serenity, with tranquility. And that is what even Krishna was doing. He understands that this is the way. There are certain things that is their way, and There are certain actions that I need to be doing. So with a very balanced state of mind, he takes all these things in a very gracious manner. Let's look at the next one. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Ashochananvashocastvam Prajnavadanshcha bhashase Gatasu na gatasumscha Nanushocanti panditaha. So here, starting with this verse, Krishna initiates his discourse with a very dramatic opening statement. The philosophy of Gita starts from this verse. It begins from this verse. Till now, it was just going slow. Now we are in full speed. So Bhishma and Drona, Arjuna, Krishna is telling, Bhishma and Drona deserve no grief because they are eternal in their real nature. Now we need to really pay attention to these because it is very philosophical. We need to understand it. We need to understand this concept very clearly. And if we are able to follow this in the second chapter, then the rest of it becomes more easier and more we will be able to enjoy that knowledge that we are having. Okay, so says that Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, all these people, they are eternal in nature, in their real nature. Now, what is this eternal? That means they can't die, they're immortal. So he says that that's not the thing, but let's look into it. In a way, yes, they are, but we will look into it because our idea of immortality is with this body. But what Krishna is talking about eternal nature is a little different from that. So Arjuna, he says, Arjuna, you're speaking words of wisdom. Okay, but you are unwise because you're grieving for those who are really eternal. And so they don't they don't deserve this grief that you are having. You have a very immature mind. Those who have the knowledge of the self, they are wise men. They will not grieve for the living nor for the dead because they know that the self is immortal. The self here is the Atma within. That your own true nature, the Jivatma, is immortal and that it neither is born nor does it die. So that now the true essence of Bhagavad Gita is to us. Okay. So the depression of Arjuna it has deeper roots in it. What Arjuna's grief is because he's ignorant of this true self. He does not have, like all of us, we're all Arjunas here. We do not really know our true self. We don't have that knowledge. So, just as a good doctor who removes the root cause of the problem rather than just treating on the symptoms, similarly here, Lord Krishna is trying to remove the root cause of Arjuna's disaster. Says that he wants Arjuna to know the right knowledge. He's telling that all of us are eternal in nature. We are neither born nor we die. So ego is arising because of the ignorance of what we are. So we all are attached to this body, and that is why we feel this grief. Arjuna is attached to the body, and that in turn gives rise to feelings of sorrow and compassion towards our relatives, towards our own people. So an attached person has to pay the price of his or her attachment in the form of sorrow and grief. That is why even Gautama Buddha said, desire is the root cause of all suffering. The desire is that emotional attachment that we have. I want this, I want that, they are mine, I belong to them. All these things are desires only. So we think that only the materialistic desires, no, even these emotional desires of they are mine, I am theirs, that also is an attachment or it's a desire. So due to this false identification that I am this body, that is what is the root cause now. Let's look at one example. Okay, maybe we will, or let's understand a situation so we will be able to probably understand it a little more better of this. What is this emotional attachment? Shouldn't we be emotionally attached? What is the use of it then? I don't belong to them, they don't belong to me, then what kind of a life we are living in? But is this attachment leading to sorrow, leading to grief? So there are so hundreds of people who die every day, right? Do we grieve for them? If we really feel something, then we should be grieving for them, no? We don't. We read, we take a newspaper, we see the accidents there, murders there. So many things happen, earthquakes, tsunami, so many things are happening. Flood is there, so many people died. We don't grieve only, but we cry only on the death of our loved ones. It is our attachment and identification with them that causes the grief, not their death. It's not their death which is causing that. We are identified, we are attached to that. We identify ourselves with those people, and that is why. So the solution is to give up that attachment and not weep. It's very, very difficult. So easily we can say, but it is very, so we'll go more detail as to what is it, why is it, and we try to understand it more deeper and deeper to really grasp this knowledge. This initially we might feel that this is something which is not possible, so let me just close this out, this is all bakwas, I really can't manage all these things. But go deeper, be patient, continue this journey. You've started it, don't stop it. Continue this journey. And at some point, you will start connecting to it. It's too early to connect to this right now. Don't give up. Just hold on to it. You've started it, don't end it so soon. So, Swami Chinmayananda says a beautiful quote: our duty in life is determined by our identity. But this identity is the one, if we don't understand it properly, that's when it starts to really go heavy. We'll start step by step so that we can understand it more better. Okay, so right now doesn't look very nice. Says that okay, so I should not weep, I should not have any emotional attachment. I can't be like a um, stone-hearted kind of a person. I can't be. So let's start one at a time. It's fine. Hold on to that thought and let's continue it and see what you will be able to take it forward. Now, who am I? This answer will help in deciding what I'm supposed to be doing. This is such a very difficult question to ask. Who am I? Let's see. We get often confused with our identity and with our roles. Yeah? A parent who is also a teacher. The parent is a teacher, so she's professionally a teacher. And then her child is studying in the same school, also in the same class that she's teaching. So many a times, what ideally should happen is when she's at home, she should be a mother. When she is in the school, she should be only a teacher. But is it difficult? It is very difficult. Because most of the time, we fail to see that her son or her daughter is only another student, just like all other students. Similarly, for the child, she is not just a teacher, she's my mother. So there is a role identification and a confusion happening. Now, say suppose a wife is a student, and while she's studying, she remembers all, oh, I have to cook, I have to clean. So all that wifely responsibilities are coming into her head at that particular time as she's studying. So what's happening? We are jumbled up with identities. Am I a student at that time? Yes. Need to remove all the other parts. But this attachment that we have to these roles is what is giving us this confusion. I'm starting it at a very basic level here to identify just the roles. Forget about the self, eternal, all those things right now. Once you understand this, maybe you will be able to accept it. It's not that you didn't understand it, not able to accept. So let's go to that thought later. Come to this and see, are we confused with our identities? When we are doing one course of action, whatever is that role that demands, am I giving that 100% to that role? That is something which we need to be thinking about. So, based on each identity that we are in currently, our role changes, our duty also changes. A teacher who is a mother in the school, she's a teacher, her job is to teach, not to take care of her son or her daughter, right? So, when a husband who must be a manager, who must be a CEO of a company, but when he comes home, then he is just a husband, the father, probably a son, the brother, all those roles comes. So at that point, whatever role, he cannot say that, oh, I'm the CEO there, because that role is over now. He's come back home. So the roles which we need to, where we are in, where which part of the role that we are playing now, what is the course of action that we need to be doing based on that role, that should be clear to us. But is that clear to us? So let's look at that again. Look at your relationships, all the roles that you're playing, and see if are you mixing up your identities. When you are in one identity, are you jumbling up with another identity? Look at it again, write it down, and see when all situations, if you can point it out and identify it, and then write it down if the relationships, if these identities are getting mixed. So, this is also Arjuna's test. So, for Arjuna also, like how Krishna says initially, now you are not, as in, you're not standing here as a nephew, grandnephew, or a student here. You are standing here as a warrior. And as a warrior, what should you be doing? To fight. So, just like how he told that, so he is telling, Krishna is trying to tell us, what are we supposed to be doing at what time, or and at what roles, and at different roles, what is our course of action. All these things also, see, we will be able to do it when we are aware. when we're doing things in a state of awareness. But most of the time, we'll be thinking something, we'll be doing something. So neither are we aware of that thought, nor are we fully aware of this doing. So that's when everything gets mixed up. So write it down, and then, or even as you do your activities, pause for a day, go over it, keep this thought in your mind. And whenever you feel that your identities are getting mixed up, write it down. It's good to write it down because then you will remember it. And then when you do your swadhyayas, when you do your introspection, self reflection, you will know that what is it that I have done? What is it that I can improve? So then this thing of blaming somebody else for whatever I'm going through, that will start to reduce. You will start owning up. You will start behaving as a very matured person. Okay. So let's stop at this right now here because you have more activities today. So go over these activities so that when the next verse, we start with the next verse, we are in with a little more clearer understanding. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Krishnarpanamastu